The king and queen were holding court. The first item of business was with two young men, companions of Hamlet's childhood, whom Claudius had secretly summoned. He had a proposition to put to them, and they were immensely impressed that they had been singled out by the King of Denmark for a special mission. Claudius greeted them with his famous warm smile, applying the considerable skill he had in dealing with people. As he shook their hand, his face showed delight and pleasure at the privilege. "Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern," he exclaimed. "Apart from wanting so much to see you, the need we have to employ you made us send for you with insufficient notice." He smiled his apology. "I suppose you heard about the transformation that taken place in Hamlet, as we would term it, since he changed so much in every way that he unreasonable. I can't imagine, apart from his father's death, what's making him behave so differently. What I would like you to do, as you grow up with him and have known him since his infancy, is to reside here in our court for a while and entertain him with your friendship, and find out whether anything that we don't know what is troubling him, so that, bringing it to the surface, we can see whether there's anything we can do about it." Gertrudis took their hands too. "Good gentlemen," she said. "He talked about you a great deal, and I'm sure there are no two men alive that he likes as much. If you will be willing to obligate us and stay and help us for a while, your service will receive the thanks that only a king can give." Rosencrantz bowed deeply. "Both your majesty need do not more than ask," he said. Guildenstern nodded. "We will," he said, "and we dedicate ourselves and offer ourselves to be commended." "Thank you, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern," said Claudius. "Thank Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz," said Gertrude. "And I ask you to visit my too much changed son immediately." She gestured to some again. "Go and take this gentleman to Hamlet. I pray to heaven that our presence and our skill will be pleasant and helpful to him," said Guildenstern. "Yes, so do I," said Gertrude. Polonius came hurrying in. "The ambassador from Norway, my lord," he said, "with good news." "You're always the father of good news," said Claudius, smiling. "Am I?" Polonius stood before the king and rubbed his hand. "I assure my good lady that my daddy come before my life, which is dedicated to my God and my gracious king. And I think, unless I'm losing my faculties, that I discovered the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy." "Oh, tell me then," said Claudius. "That's what I long to hear." "Listen to the ambassador first. My niece will be the dessert to that great feast. Bring them in." While Polonius was fetching the ambassador, Claudius paced, frowning. "He tell me, dear Gertrude," he said, that he found the root cause of your son's bad mood." She sighed. "I don't think it's any other than we already know. His father died and our over hasty marriage. Well, anyway, we'll listen to him." His account's smile returned as Polonius entered with the ambassador. "Welcome, my good friend," he said. "So tell me, Fortiman, what news for our brother Norway?" Voltimon's face showed that his mission had success. Very good, he said. He immediately moved to suppress his nipple levies, which he had thought were preparation against the Poles. But when he looked more closely, he found that they were really preparation against you. He was so annoyed that he ignored his sickness, age, and weakness, sent an instruction to 14 brass to stop, which in the short the young man obeyed. He received free book for Norway, and finally makes a vow to his uncle that he never again treat your majesty. At that, old Norway, overjoyed, gave him a grant of 3,000 crowns a year and a commission to use those soldiers against the Poles. With our request to you contained here, Voltimand handed the king a letter, that it might please you to allow him to pass through your territory for the purpose, subject to the conditions that are set down in there. We are happy with that, said Claudius, and at your leisure we'll read and answer and think about it. Meanwhile, we thank you for your splendid effort. Get some rest, and tonight we'll feast together. Welcome home. Polonius escorted the ambassador to the door, then came back and bowed unconsciously. A satisfactory end to this business, he said. He rubbed his hand, stood up, straight and closely his eyes, to argue things like the nature of majesty. Why day is day, night, night, and time is time. Words serve only to waste night, day, and time. He noticed Gertrude impatiently, gestured to him to get to the point and stop. Therefore, sign brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the lips are an outward sign of wit. I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. I say mad, because to define true madness, what is it other than being mad? He was about to attempt another definition, but he caught Gertrude's eye and thought better of it. But let it go, he said. More substance with less rhetoric, said Gertrude. Madam, he protested, I swear I'm not employing rhetoric. It's the truth that he is mad, and in being true is a pity, and pity is true. Rhetoric is a foolish art, so goodbye to rhetoric, for I will not use it. Let us grant that he is mad, and it remains therefore to find out the cause of this effect, or should I say rather this defect, since this effect become defective by its nature. So it's remainly only, and the remainder is this. Take note. I have a daughter, at least have as long as she minds, which her duty and obedience look, have given me this. He withdrew a letter from inside his doublet with a flourish. Now listen, and draw your own conclusion. To the divine and my soul's idol, the most beautiful. That's an awful praise and applying praise. Beautiful is an applying praise, but you will hear. So, in her excellent white bosom, this etc. This came to her from Hamlet, said Gertrude. Good, madam, be patient while I read it. Doubt that the stars are fire, doubt that the sun does move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt my love. Oh dear Ophelia, I'm bad at this poetry. I don't have the skill to word my groans, but to believe that I love you ardently. Oh, beloved, I believe it. Adieu, you're forever, dearest lady, as long as I live. Hamlet. In her obedience, my daughter has shown me this, and moreover, his solicitings, the time, the means, the place have been reported to me. But how has she received his love? Said Claudius. Polonius was thrilled with his triumph. He cocked his head. What do you think of me? He said. Claudius and Gertrude glanced at each other. Gertrude was about to articulate the impotence that she was trying to conceal when Claudius placed a hand on her arm. I smiled at Polonius. That you are a lawyer and honorable man, he said. I should hope so, said Polonius. But what would you have thought if, when I had seen this hot love on the wing, as I perceived it to be, I must let you that. Before my daughter told me, what might you, or my dear Majesty, your queen here, have thought if I had immediately a table and stayed dumb, or turned a blind eye on this love? What would you have thought? No, I went straight to work and said the following to my young mistress. Lord Hamlet is a prince beyond your spears. This must not be. And then I gave her instruction to keep herself away from his usual place, at my not messenger and accept no gift. Which done, she accepted the wisdom of my advice and being rejected. To cut a long story short, he fell into a sadness, then into a depression, and from that into a distraction, and by this decline into the madness that now makes him brave. And that we are mourned for, he rubbed his hand. Claudius was dubious. He turned to Gertrude. Do you think is that? She thought for a moment. It may be. It's very likely. Polonius looked off then. Has there ever been a time, I love to know that, when I have positively said it so, and it has been proved otherwise? Not that I know of, said Claudius. Polonius pointed to his head. Take this from this, he said. If it prove otherwise, if I can, I will always find the truth of things, even its hidden very deep. How can we put it to the test, said Claudius. You know that he sometimes pays for up to 4 hours at a time out there is in the lobby. Yes, he does, said Gertrude. Well, when he does that again, I'll get my daughter to go to him. You and I will hide behind the curtain, watch the encounter. If he doesn't love her and has fallen into madness because of that, then I'm not fit to be an assistant to the state, but only a farmer. Well, try it, said Claudius. Gertrude looked up beyond the door to the lobby. But look, she said, the poor wretch is out there reading. Go, said Polonius. Both of you, I will confront him right now. Polonius went out into the lobby. Hamlet was pacing, reading a book. Oh, I beg your pardon, said Polonius. How is my good Lord Hamlet? Well, thanks God, said Hamlet, looking up from his book. Do you know me, my lord? Said Polonius. Very well, you are a fishmonger. No, I am not, my lord. Then I wish you were an honest man. Honest, my lord? Yes, sir, said Hamlet. To be honest nowadays is to be one man out of 1,000. That's very true, my lord. Because if the sun breathes maggot in a dead dog being a corpse ripe for kissing, have you got a daughter? I have, my lord. Then don't let her walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but not as your daughter may conceive. Hamlet laughed. So what's up, friend? Polonius frowned. What did he mean by that? She's sharping on his daughter, but he didn't know him at first. He called him a fishmonger. He is far gone, far gone. Polonius remembered how in his youth he had suffered this kind of extremity when he was in love. Very similar. What are you reading, my lord? Words, said Hamlet. What is the matter, my lord? Between who? I mean the matter that you are reading. Slanders, said Hamlet. For the satirical Roger who wrote this say here to that old men have grey beards, that their faces are wrinkled, their eyes water and sticky, and they are stupid as well as having weak muscle. I completely agree with all that, sir. I think it was wrong to write it down because you would be as old as I am, sir, if you could walk backward like a crab. It was madness, all right, but there seems to be some sense in it somewhere. Would you like to take a walk outside, my lord? Into my grave, said Hamlet. Yes, indeed, that it is outside. How full of substance some of his replies were. A coincidence that madness sometimes strikes, sometimes in way that reason and sanity couldn't achieve. He would leave him now and accidentally find a way of encouraging him and his daughter. My lord, I will most humbly take my leave of you, he said. Amber grinned. You cannot, sir, take anything from me that I will more willingly part with. His face became sad suddenly. Except my life, he said grimly. Except my life. Goodbye, my lord. Hamlet watched him walk off. This tedious old fool, he exclaimed and returned to his reading. When news got the end of the long lobby, just a Rosettans and Guildenstern were coming in. You're looking for the Lord Hamlet, he said. He turned and pointed. There he is. God save you, sir, said Rosencrantz. They walked safely to the other ends of the lobby. My honored lord, said Guildenstern. My most dear lord, said Rosencrantz. Hamlet looked pleased to see them. My excellent good friend, he exclaimed. How are you? Not too bad, said Rosencrantz. Content in that we are not overjoyed, said Guildenstern. We are not exactly the top button of Fortune's hat, but not the soles of her shoes either, I hope, said Hamlet. Neither, my lord, said Rosencrantz. Then you live around her waist in the middle of her furs, said Hamlet. In fact, around her private part, said Ginger. They are loud. In the secret place of Fortune, said Hamlet. Yes, indeed, she wore. They are loud again. Hamlet slapped Guildenstern on the back. What's your news then? Not my lord, said Rosencrantz, except that the world ground honest. Then doomsday near, said Hamlet. But your news isn't true. Let me ask you more specifically then. What have you deserved at the hand of Fortune, my good friends? Did she send you prison there? Prison, my lord, said Guildenstern. Denmark a prison, said Hamlet. Then the World War I, said Rosencrantz. A real one in which there are many cells and dungeons, said Hamlet. Denmark is one of the worst. We don't think so, said Rosencrantz. Well, then, it is to you. As nothing is either good or bad unless one process is such. It's a present to me. That because your aspirations are so high, said Rosencrantz. Denmark is too small for your mind. Oh God, exclaimed Hamlet. I could be confined in a nutshell and concise that infinite space wherein it not that high a bad dream. Guildenstern noted. Which are aspirants, as I said, because aspirants are only a reflection of dreams. A dream it is a reflection, said Hamlet. Absolutely, said Rosencrantz. And I believe that aspirants are so unsubstantial that they are only reflection of reflection. Then our beggar's body and our monarchs and our great hero are all only the beggar's reflection. Hamlet scratched his head. Shall we go to the court? Because I have to say that I can think this one through. We're at the surface, said Susan. Never, said Hamlet. I won't ring you with my servants. He beckoned them close, looked around him and whispered, To tell you the truth, I'm not closely looked after. He led the way to the audience hall and invited them to sit. He signaled a servant to bring some refreshment. But as one friend to another, he said, when they were settled, me, why have you come to Elsinore? To visit you, my lord, said Rosencrantz. Nothing else. I'm a complete beggar, said Hamlet. I'm even poor in my thanks, but I thank you, my dear friend, even though my thanks are worthless. Weren't you sent for? They looked at each other sharply. Is it your own idea? Is it a complete free visit? Come, tell me the truth. They protest with the gesture of denial. No, tell me. There's nothing to tell, said Goldstone. What can we say? Anything but the truth. Of course, said Hamlet. He pointed slyly at Goldstone and smiled. You were sent for. He walked his finger playful at Rosenstein. I know because there's kind of confusion in your looks which are not skillful enough to modify. Decisively, I know the good king and queen have sent you. Why would they, my lord Regency? You tell me, said Hamlet. Let me agree you, for the sake of our story, the similarity of our age, the obligation of our enduring regard for each other, and by whatever else such a close friend could mention, to be honest and direct with me, where you send it for or not. Rosenstein caught Grinstern's eyes. Grinstern nodded almost impressively. If you have any respect for me, don't hold back, said Hamlet. Grinstern turned his palms and shrugged. My lord, we weren't sent for. And I tell you why, said Hamlet. And I doing that you won't have to spy on me and your secret dealing with the king and queen didn't bother you, considering. I don't think why it is, but I've lost all my sense of fun and ignored my physical exercise lately. I become so depressed that this wonderful structure, the world seems like a sterile promontory. This beautiful canopy, the sky, listen the glorious heaven above us. The majesty roof decorated with golden fire. Do you know it strikes me as nothing more than a full and diseased swirl of evil-smelling vapors? The two young men stared at their feet. This wasn't what they had expected. What a piece of work a man is, continued Hamlet. How superior in reason, how infinitely intelligent, how well proportioned and admired in his form, how like an angel in his action, how like a god in his understanding, the masterpiece of the world, the perfect embodiment of animal. And yet I ask myself what this quantity of dust is. I get no pleasure of man. Winston looked up and that and winked at him. No, nor woman there neither. Though judging by your silliness, you seem to be suggesting something. Royston looked hurt. My lord, that was far from my thoughts. Why did you laugh then when I say I get no pleasure from men? I was thinking, my lord, that if you find no pleasure in my men, what a poor presumption the actor will get you from you. We overtook them on the way here. They're coming to offer you their service. The actor who play the king will be welcome. I will salute his majesty. The adventurous knight will use his foil and shield. The lover won't fight for nothing. The troublemaker will end his part peacefully. The clown will make those who laugh at nothing, and the lady will say her lines as incorrectly as she likes, or the blank verse will suffice of it. What pair are they? Your favorite, say Rosencrantz. The tragedy of the city. Why are you touring, say Hamlet? Their Birmingham was better from the point of view both of reputation and profit. I think they've gone over fashion. Aren't they as popular as they were when I was in the city? No, indeed they aren't, said Rosencrantz. What is that? Have they gone rusty? No, said Rosencrantz. They're just as good as ever. But there is sure an array of children, little nestlings that declaim louder than the subject warrants in their shrill treble voice and are most vehemently clap for it. These are now the fashion, and they are abusing all the stage so much that the arrogant the afraid of attending for fear of being wooden by the writer's goose quill pens. What are they children? Who looks after them? How much are they paid? Are they going to continue as players then can't sing anymore? If they themselves grow up to be common players, as it most likely, won't they save if their income doesn't improve? That their writer have done them not favor in making them cry out against the enemy that they are themselves going to become. The sequence loudly. In fact, there has been big to do on both sides, and the public love to incite them to recover. For a while, no one would buy a script unless it is keeping the fighting between the two groups. Really? Or there has been influence. Do the boys carry it off? In more ways than one, my lord. They also acquired the statue of Hercules that stood in front of the group theater. Ponius ushered Rosencrantz and Guildenstern into the audience hall. He had brought Ophelia because of the plan he had devised that involved her. Claudius greeted his guests warmly, and after gracious inquiries about their comfort, he got down the business. And have you been able to draw anything out of him? He said. Why he is behaving in this confused way, upsetting his calm with such a turbulent and dangerous lunacy. It means that he feels distressed, said Rosencrantz, but he won't tell us why. Nor do we find him prepared to be sounded out, said Gunston, but stay aloof with a crafty method every time we try to get him to say anything about it. Did he receive you well? Said Gertrude. It's like a gentleman, said Rosencrantz, but reserved, said Guildenstern. Didn't ask you any question, said Rosencrantz, but answered our very liberally. Did you get him to join in with any entertainment? Madam, it so happened that we told him about some actor we had overtaken on the way. He showed a key kind of joy at that news. They're here somewhere, and I think he already engaged them to perform for him tonight. That right, said News. And he's asked me to invite your majesty to join him. With all my heart, said Claudius, and it's a relief to hear that he's taking an interest in something good. Gentlemen, try and whet his appetite for more of this pleasure. We will, more lord, said Rosencrantz. There were more pleasantries and thanks from the king, and then they left. Claudius smiled at his wife. Sweet Gertrude, leave us too, because we have just sent for Hamlet to come here so that he can encounter Ophelia. As thought by chance, her father and I, being lawful priests, will hide ourselves so that watching him, but being unseen ourselves, we can frankly judge. According to his behavior, whether it really is a fiction of his love or not, not that's making him suffer like this. I will obey you, said Gertrude. And as for your Ophelia, I do hope that your victories are indeed the happy cause of Hamlet's discourse. By the same token, I hope that those victories will also bring him to himself again in a way that will be honorable to both of you. Madam, I hope so too, said Ophelia. Polonius bowed deeply as Gertrude left, and Ophelia courtsied. Then Polonius resumed his busy manner. Ophelia, walk around here, my gracious lord, if you don't mind. We'll hide ourselves. He pointed to one of the long velvet curtains. Claudius went to the curtain. Polonius gave Ophelia a book. Read this book, he said, so that the appearance of loneliness will be increased. It's a fact that we often sugar offer the devil himself with an innocent face and saintly action. Claudius knew the truth of that. Polonius' comment had given his conscience a stinging lash. The makeup that was plastered their face with isn't more hypocritical than his own plastered words were, compared with his death. Oh, the burn he carried was so heavy. Ophelia sat down and started reading. He's coming, said Polonius. Let's hide. They slipped behind the curtain and stood where they had a clear view of the area where Ophelia was sitting. Homer came into the hall. He was walking slowly. He didn't see Ophelia. He was thinking. He paused and stood still. The question for him was whether to continue to exist or not, whether it was more noble to suffer the sling and arrow of an unbearable situation, or to declare war on the sea of trouble that affliction one, and by opposing them and them to die. He pondered the prospect to sleep as simple as that, and with that sleep beyond the heartaches and the thousand natural miseries that human beings have to endure. It's an end that we will all ardently hope for, to die, to sleep, perhaps to dream. Yes, that was the problem, because in that sleep of death, the dream we might have, when we have said this mortal body, must make us pause, that the consideration that craves the calamity of such a long life, because we will tolerate the whips and scorn of time, the tyrant's offense against us, the contempt of proud men, the pain of rejection, love, the insults of vicarious authority, and the advantage that the worst people take of the best, when one could release oneself with a naked blade. Who would carry this load, sweating and grunting under the burden of a weary life, if it weren't for the dread of afterlife, that unexplored country from whose border no traveler returns? That's the things that confounds us and make us put up this evil that we know, rather than hurry to other that we don't know about. So thinking about it makes cowards of us all. And it followed that the first impulse to end our life is abused by reflection on it. And a great and important plans are delayed to the point where we don't do anything. He heard a movement and looked up. It was Ophelia, rising from a long vacant chair. She smiled nervously as she came towards him. Nim, he said, pray for my sins. Good, my lord, she said. How have you been these last few days? He bowed. I thank you, he said. Well. My lord, I have some gift from you that I have wanted to return. Will you take them now? No, he said. I won't. I never given you anything. My honorable lord, you know very well that you have. and with them such sweet words that made them all the more valuable. Not now that their perfume has gone, take them back because to an honest mind, rich gift become poor when the giver grown unkind. She thrust a parcel at him. Dear my lord, ha! He exclaimed. Are you a virgin? What? Are you beautiful? What do you mean? That if you are chaste and beautiful, your chastity should protect your beauty. Couldn't beauty and chastity be equal, my lord? Of course they couldn't. The power of beauty will change chastity into pain before the force and chastity will change beauty into its likeness. It, this was once a paradox, but the present situation has proved it. I love you once. Yes, my lord, and I thought so. You shouldn't have believed me. Virtue can compete with our natural sinfulness. I didn't love you. I was most deceived. Hamlet took a step closer to her. Take yourself to a nunnery, he said. Why would you want to be a breeder of sinners? I am myself very honest, and yet I could accuse myself of such thing that would make it better if my mother had never given birth to me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, and with more offense in mind that I have thought to conscious them, imagination to give form to them, or time to commit them. What are such fellow as I am doing life? We are also atrocious knave. Don't believe any of us. Get on your way to Neri. Where is your father? At my home, Lord. Make sure he lock in so that he can make a fool of himself nowhere except in his own house. Farewell. Oh, help him, sweet heaven, she said. There were tears in her eyes. Hamlet leaps forward and grabs her wrist. If you do marry, I'll give you this tooth for your dowry. Whether you are crystal as ice, as pure as snow, you won't escape slender. Get yourself to a nursery. Go, farewell. Or if you really have to marry a fool because wise men know enough that monster you turn them into. To a nursery, go. And quickly too, farewell. He let go of her and she moved swiftly away from him. Oh, heavenly powers restore him, she sobbed. Hamlet walked swiftly toward the door. He stopped suddenly and turned. I know all about the way you paint yourself too, he shouted. God has given you one face and you make other for yourself. You just jump about, you walk professedly, your lips, and use foolish pet names. And you pretend that you don't understand your lasciviousness. Get away. I have no more of it. It has driven me mad. I'm telling you that we'll have no more marriage. Those are already married will all live, except for one. The rest will be left alone. To a nunnery, go. He turned and ran. Ophelia returned to her chair and slumped down on it. She felt weak. What a noble mind has been destroyed. He had the eyes, the tongue, the bravery of a noble man, a scholar and soldier. This man, the promise and hope of the nation, the model of fashion and the perfection of physical manhood, the most admired of a man, destroyed. And she was the most dejected and miserable of all women. She had experienced the joy of his attention, and now that noble and most royal mind are out of tune, like sweet bells that have gone wrong. That unequal form, that flower of youth, conquered. She felt wretched to have seen what she had once seen, and to see what she saw now. Polonius and Claudius emerged from behind the curtains. Love, exclaimed Claudius Obviously, his emotion don't indicated that, and the things he said thought they lack coherence to some extent didn't sound like madness. There's something deep in his soul that he brooding on, and I'm convinced that it's developing into something dangerous. To prevent that, I have made a decision. I am sending him to England to collect the money they owe us. Perhaps differences and countries and the new experience he will have might clear this matter from his heart. What do you think? It will do well, said Polonius, but I still think that the origin of his grief sprang from unrequited love. Hello, Ophelia, you don't have to tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please, but if you think it would help when the play is over, ask his mother to see him privately to tell her about his grief. She should be frank with him, and if you like, I'll place myself where I will be able to listen to their whole conversation. If she can find out anything, send him to England or lock him away somewhere whenever you think best. Well, do that, said Claudius. We can ignore madness in high place.